I took a DNA test for fun and found out I had a whole other family. Since the start of this year, I have been unraveling a heritage mystery. I've been interested in researching my family history for many years and have bounced back and forth between my heritage and ancestry. This is not a sponsored post, but this does come from Family Tree Mystery on the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
You got to test out all of your DNA options.
That's true.
I think what we do is we give everyone a little bit of our DNA.
Yeah, just spit in everyone's face.
Yeah, and you say, hey, whoever comes back with the most amount of family members
wins.
Wins.
Well, guess what? We all win because we're all cousins.
Aww. In December 2020, I finally took the leap to DNA testing, choosing to use my heritage because there was a sale at the time and my aunt had already tested through it. Okay. When I got my results back in January 2021, they seemed weird.
How weird.
I'll tell you how weird. My mother's side came back with what I expected. Normal stuff. Almost entirely Italian with hints of other adjacent ethnicities. We've done our DNA stuff.
We're Polish and other white.
Other white. My mom was very...
She's Scottish.
She also
British, Scottish, and French.
Told us that we were 1% Nigerian.
That's everyone's 1% Nigerian.
I know, but she was very excited about that one. However, I was always told by my father that his English was mostly German and Dutch, with English, Scottish, and Welsh thrown in. We have a Germanic last name. I had spent years up to this point digging through records to trace my father's very confusing family line, and I was able to trace the Dutch side back through the settling of Albany, New York, and back further to the Netherlands.
What was that called? New Holland or something?
Yeah.
When they first came up?
Something like that.
Something.
Wait, New York was called New Holland?
Or I might be misremembering.
Something like that. I feel like I remember that.
The Dutch.
I was confident the DNA tests would back this up and give me more info on the other lines that I was missing, but my results came back as Jewish.
It's plot twist.
I was obviously confused. I thought maybe my dad had gotten his information wrong. He is elderly, doesn't have the greatest memory for detail, and didn't know much beyond his parents' generation for family info. His parents had died before I was born, so I was never able to speak to them myself. I talked to my mom about it, and she agreed that it was a plausible explanation. Basically, Dad's old. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Or she's a liar.
Yeah, or
and
she's trying to cover it up. I remember saying to my mom, quote, before I waste any more time on this, Dad is definitely my biological father, right? Right? Well,
say it ain't so.
Say it ain't so. Well, say it ain't so. Say it is so.
Say it is so.
Well, Mom did surprise me by mentioning for the first time that they had been going for fertility treatments, but she had no reason to believe that my dad wasn't my actual father.
Well, what do you mean you have no reason? There's quite a couple reasons.
That feels like a reason. It feels like you were just saying maybe a reason.
Oh.
Well, fast forward to April 2021. Someone reached out to me via My Heritage, wanting to talk about how we were possibly related.
Whoa.
The DNA showed us as not too distant cousins.
Family expansion pack right here.
Oh,
new family just dropped.
Who dis?
Unboxing with me and my new family.
Unboxing my cousin? Why is he in the box? I don't know.
Who's to say?
This cousin and I started emailing, swapping family names and basic info, trying to figure out how we were connected. It quickly became apparent that we had no idea who the other was or how our families were related. Really quick, stopping right here.
I'm stopped.
What do you think? Are we thinking
cheating?
1, cheating.
Or 2.
2, is there anything else?
1, cheating.
1, cheating.
Well,
that's the only option.
Opie's mom said that they went to a fertility clinic. So I'm wondering if something nefarious happened there.
Was it an old school fertility clinic?
Yeah, they were like,
it's like,
you're not really fertile, but this guy is.
Yeah.
Pass him in there. Mix it up.
We'll exchange them midway so you won't know who.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those coconut shells.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're going to get Jewish.
At the encouragement of my cousin, I brought the subject back to my mom. I'm not particularly close with my family, and my parents have been divorced for many years, so I've never asked much more about things like this. Well, my mom explains about the fertility treatment she had previously mentioned. Just some dude.
Just some guy.
Some very fertile guy.
Yeah.
My father had a vasectomy before my parents were married.
Ooh.
Wait, so he couldn't, unless he got it reversed.
Yeah, you could do a snip snap.
What did Michael Scott say? I get a vasectomy and reverse it and break it back.
Do you know the toll of 15 vasectomies on the human body? Something like that. It's a quote from The Office.
Yeah, no, I gathered.
He's almost 20 years older than my mother and had been married previously with children. Okay, that's the old
man.
And we were going to a fertility center to help in conceiving me. They did a vasectomy reversal, collected multiple samples, and combined them. Then insemination. The clinic told my parents that there was a 90% chance of success. So basically, it's his sperm and some other dude's sperm, and they all... It's his sperm a bunch of times.
They're saying that they reversed the vasectomy and then took his sperm, artificially inseminated, but it was his sperm.
Okay.
And it took 3 tries to conceive, but here I am, alive and kicking. Oh, Alan Foster says could have been switched at birth.
No, because the mom, we know that the mom is OP's real mom. Yeah, but good guess.
I told this info back to my helpful cousin. He comes back with 2 possibilities. Either my father was an unknown adoption and is actually 100% Jewish, extremely unlikely, or there was some sort of mix-up at the fertility center.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe they were like, well, it's got to be 90% success rate, and we're going to ensure that.
So it's not switched at birth, it's switched before birth. So my mom and I are now panic-stricken. I should mention that my father has no idea that any of these conversations and revelations are happening. As I mentioned before, he is elderly. Man, barely knows what's going on.
He's so old.
He's so freaking old.
I think it's funny that OP's like, he is so old that there is a possibility that he just
doesn't know.
Forgot that he was Jewish.
I'm also the clear favorite of his children, and he has me on a bit of pedestal in his mind. His mental health could not handle a blow like this. Damn, I'm really concerned about this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he does know I've been researching the family, however, so it was not suspicious when I took the next step and ordered DNA kits from my heritage for him and my mother.
Okay, pause. Can we do a poll? Do you tell this
elderly
old man,
brain dead man?
I guess the question is how long do you have to keep it a secret? And how many years does he have?
How soon do you want your will?
What if he strikes you from the will?
Oh, well, hopefully you guys have more love than...
Hopefully, but he's not remembering a lot anymore.
But he could get a bag, though, because if they screwed up the number, said 90%.
That's true.
They could sue
the
fertility
clinic.
Is this fertility clinic even still around? Like, it was like, what? How old is OP?
These are answers that only the story can tell us.
It would be a while before I'd be able to test my parents. But in the meantime, I ordered myself a new DNA test kit. This time from Ancestry to compare the results.
Gotta compare.
And while I'm waiting for those results, I did a deep dive into research. My cousin's family tree was easily accessible through another shared cousin, and I started copying it over to my own records, trying to figure out where I fit into it. When I did get my Ancestry DNA results back, they confirmed that I was half Italian, half Jewish, with many of the same relatives connected on both sites. In June 2021, I uploaded my MyHeritage DNA to Family Tree DNA to see if I could squeeze any more information from it. What I found was extremely helpful, but devastating.
Oh no!
It connected me with a potential paternal grandfather whose information was conveniently managed by the same cousin I had been emailing with. I immediately sent another message asking my cousin who this man was. I couldn't sit still while waiting for a reply, so I took to social media to dig for more info. Thanks to the family tree, I was able to search for him, his children, and even his grandchildren.
So this is OP's maybe grandpa.
What if this, cousin knows there was someone who was swapping sperm and trying to do one of those 1,000 kids kind of thing?
Oh.
You know? I knew who was getting married, who was going away to what schools, and that his wife, my apparent grandmother, had passed away fairly recently. I was able to add birthdays and wedding anniversaries that I was missing to the family tree. It was weird and a bittersweet feeling to be so successful in finding all this out. I was happy that I was getting somewhere with the answers I needed, but upset that this was happening at all. And I, of course, felt like a creep basically cyber stalking this entire family, but people really love to overshare on social media.
I mean,
Couldn't
just a
imagine.
little bit, but for a good cause. The cause is you need to find out who you are.
Yeah, you got to trace that family tree all the way down to the base. It was an agonizing few days before my cousin emailed me back, but when he did, he came through with a lot of info we had been missing. He explained that he was just as shocked as I was and had made some phone calls. As I had figured out myself, this grandfather of mine had 3 sons around my mom's age. My cousin wouldn't confirm nor deny which one, but one of those sons had been a sperm donor around the time my parents would have been trying to conceive. Based on my own digging, I was sure I knew which son was my biological dad.
A little Mamma Mia situation here.
He had 3 sons of his own, the oldest being just 2 years younger than me. He was a doctor that had connections with the larger organization that ran the fertility center. And the most damning evidence of all, he had my face.
No, he stole your face.
You like that one?
I
Riley?
love that one.
I look so much like my mom that I could never tell if I looked like my dad, but I saw myself clearly in this man's features. Even without my cousin's confirmation, I was confident that this was my biological father.
This means that the fertility clinic made a little oopsie.
Made a big
Sue
oopsie.
him.
Wait.
Sue him.
And he's a doctor?
And he's a doctor.
He's a doctor too?
Oh.
Wait, for real?
This guy's a doctor.
A fertility doctor?
OP's not a fertility doctor.
No, I know. The dad.
The dad is a doctor. I don't know if it is a fertility doctor, but was it planned?
People are evil.
People are evil.
People are freaking evil, man.
I took this info back to my mother, who was understandably upset. We are still unsure if the inclusion of a donor was a genuine mistake, an intentional move by the clinic to ensure higher success rate for themselves, or if there was something in the fine print that my parents misread that would allow the inclusion of a donor. So it was kind of what I thought initially, where it was like, oh, they're mixing his sperm and some other ones.
Yeah, just to see what sticks.
You.
Throwing pasta at the wall.
She became, God, sticky, gross pasta.
Okay, well, okay, you guys are.
She began
That's
through
you.
those ropes. She began the process of getting her records from that fertility clinic, but they have been very dodgy. Originally, she sent an email just asking if they could forward her records to her, not mentioning a specific reason as to why. She received a phone call from a receptionist saying that they have gotten her request and would bring it up at the next board of directors meeting.
Oh.
Suspicious. Very suspicious.
Board of directors. That's like all the way at the top.
Yeah.
Why can't you just give me the records?
After that, they did send her a records release form, which she filled out and returned the first week of June. In mid-July, she got another phone call saying they had no physical records for her, but would be looking at the microfilm. I let my cousin know where we were in regards to medical records. I also asked him if he knew of anything I should be concerned about health-wise from that side of the family. At this time, I did order a 23andMe DNA kit to triple confirm my ethnicity, as well as look at health reports and hopefully connect with other closer family members.
Got 3 different ancestry tests.
Yeah, I did a DNA test, and it just said I'm gonna have like everything wrong with me.
Yeah. What did it say? You were gonna have.
I was gonna be bald.
You were gonna
Schizophrenic.
live for a long time.
I was gonna live for a long time,
But you were gonna be bald and
age terribly.
Kind of like a curse.
It's kind of like a curse. Like, yeah.
Ooh, you're going to live forever, but
it'll be
horribly.
terrible. Yeah, that sucks.
I'm hopeful that I have dad's.
We look the same.
Well, I have dad's hair color.
We'll get back to the story, but something funny happened this weekend. So I was playing basketball with like a bunch of these old guys.
Right.
And the other team was a bunch of like younger dudes, 25 and plus.
Okay.
And I was with these like older guys and they were running, and dude, these young guys were literally running circles around the old guys. And while they were playing, this one guy on my team, the old team, popped his knee and had to leave. It was really bad.
Like, what did it look like?
I didn't look. I didn't want to look. I just saw him hobble off, and then I just played the rest of the game.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and he was like, where do I go? And I didn't know what to say.
Bro sounds like me. What's going on?
There's only one place that you send someone who's hobbling off the court, and that's ZocDoc.
ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you.
And instantly book appointments with them online.
And y'all, all of these docs have verified reviews from actual, real patients.
We're talking about booking appointments with tens of thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed, credible doctors and specialists.
And you can filter the ones that take your insurance.
And treat basically any condition you're searching for.
Wow. The typical wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is just between 24 and 72 hours.
Sometimes even in the same day.
Y'all, I use ZocDoc. We use ZocDoc. You should use ZocDoc too.
Go to ZocDoc.com/OKOP and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today.
That is ZocDoc.com/OKOP, ZocDoc.com/OKOP. Let's get back to the episode.
If BioDad was a sperm donor, maybe there were other half-siblings out there. 23andMe seems like the most popular place to test, so I thought it was possible there might be more connections. There were not. It was interesting to compare the results of all three DNA tests, though. When my cousin wrote to me again, he had a direct message from BioDad for me. It was not particularly enlightening. The few things he mentioned I had already figured out for myself. The whole short letter read as a very polished and political letter. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not looking for a relationship with this man, but a little, that would be weird, you guys are related, but a little more kindness would have been appreciated.
I think they meant like
I know, I'm making a joke.
Oh.
My cousin is an absolute delight, and I have genuinely enjoyed talking with him throughout all of this. I sent a brief return note to my cousin to pass on to my biological dad, especially just saying thank you for taking the time to write to me, and that I hoped this revelation wasn't causing him or his family any harm, and that was absolutely not my intent. But also what my intent is to tell you that you can join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST right here on YouTube. Also, we got a podcast. Look it up on podcast wherever you get your
Look it
podcast.
up with the pod.
My cousin wrote to me again soon after that. He thanked me himself for the return message to the BioDad, but let me know that BioDad did not want to read what I had sent and that he didn't even know my name and didn't want to. I understand
if
as
you're
a sperm donor
not wanting to have a
I mean like
a relationship with your kid.
My cousin will hang on to it and pass it along when BioDad is ready, but I don't feel great about that. I, of course, understand needing time to come to terms with this new info, but he was a willing sperm donor. Surely he knew there was a possibility that he had children out there somewhere. And I think what a lot of these fertility clinics are like, oh, you're going to be anonymous, blah, 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 like all this stuff.
You can't ensure I don't think you can ever ensure anonymity.
Did he think I was trying to cash in on him somehow? I didn't have a good feeling about being this man's biological child after that. Aww. Around the same time, my father's DNA results finally came in. As the final nail in the coffin, we were not connected.
Aww.
It was honestly heartbreaking to see no close relatives show up in his results. I should have been there to top it all off. All this happened just before Father's Day.
Oof.
I had quite a few sleepless nights, and anxiety attacks that month. I still haven't told him about any of this. He hasn't asked about his DNA test results, but if he does, I'll just tell him the truth of the results without mentioning that I am not included in them.
And 75% of people say tell him.
I think talk to your mom first and see what the best way to tell him is.
I feel like our general rule here is
the truth. Yeah.
Like secrets become stinkier over time, and
It's
so
true. Secrets are like cheese.
Secrets are like cheese, and not good cheese, like bad, stinky cheese. Do we think that OP should tell the father?
I think it depends on how there he is, like how present he is.
Yeah.
Because if you have a grandparent with, dementia or something like that, maybe doesn't make that much sense to tell them.
Yeah.
But if they're still present and they still have, they're still in their right mind and body.
I feel like I'm leaning towards saying something. And it's just like, hey, Dad, I want you to know I realized something with this DNA test.
Yeah.
I realized that we're not biologically related and there was a mix up, but I still love you and you're still always going to be my dad.
Concur.
Hey, this is a pretty crazy story. You know what else is crazy? You. That's right. You have crazy stories, specifically, possibly, of the inheritance variety. We are doing a brand new game show all around inheritance. 4 people thought they were going to get the bag, and 1 actually did. So if you have a story of coming very close to inheritance, but not actually getting it, or you did actually get the bag, you were able to successfully get the inheritance, we want to hear your stories. Click the link below, fill out your story, and we will get back to you and hopefully see you on the show.
I thought my new boss was super handsome before I found out he's my dad.
Daddy.
Daddy, chill.
Papa.
Daddy. I, 22 female, have been working since I was 16. Hard worker.
Nice.
Even throughout college, and I have been diligently moving towards finally getting what is basically a dream job for me. I work for a small business of about 50 people, and my boss, Ron, 55 male, the owner, is very involved.
And I want to be involved with him.
Ew. By the way, this comes from Easy Rest 8051 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
I want to rest in Ron's lap.
Ew.
Cuddle up.
When I first met him, I was struck by what a handsome older man he was, and we immediately clicked. Even during the interview process when we spoke, I just thought he had a good vibe, and especially in combination with the positive and laid-back culture of the company, I was glad to start up my job.
Okay. How old is
22.
22. Okay.
And Ron is 55.
Dang. That's an age gap.
He's old enough to be your dad. Anyway, I was talking about my job with my sister Luna, 17 female, and she said my boss was handsome. All the daughters think that their dad is handsome.
I mean, he's a man in power.
Silver fox.
Silver fox.
I actually agreed with her when we were looking at some pictures of my workplace and the social media accounts of Ron and my coworkers. At that point, my mom, 45 female, noticed and came over, curious to have a look. I showed her the picture of Ron, and she paused. She looked more closely. She asked me his name, and I told her and showed it to her. She paused, she looked at me, and she said, "That's your father."
What?
Whoa.
Dude.
Whoa.
That's some Star Wars kind of stuff. I'm
confused how she didn't tell her before. How is this just coming out right now?
Well, she wanted her to first be sexually attracted to him and then bring out the truth.
Just like she did.
She wanted her to have the same experience.
Yes.
That's so weird. Imagine crushing on your dad.
That's so weird. I just don't understand how if she knew who he was, why did she keep it from him? Or keep it from OP.
Again, wanted her to crush on him first.
Oh no, I typed something. She paused again. She looked at me and she said, "That's your father." I was obviously shocked, and I was also squicked out about having thought he was handsome.
I would be squicked out too.
I asked my mom if she could confirm, and she said, "Yes, that's definitely him." I have known since I was young that my father, 50 male, who had raised me, was not my bio dad. Okay. My parents had some mutual infidelity issues early in their relationship.
Mutual infidelity issues. That is such a corporate way of saying they were cheating on each other like crazy.
Cheating. My mother never told me who my real father was, though, and said he was just a one-night stand. She said that she didn't actually even know his name, just a shortened version of his first name. His name is Ron. Maybe it's a fake name.
Yeah, it could be Ronald.
I don't know. I feel like you can, make some assumptions. If she was like, I didn't even know his full name, just Ron. What could that possibly stand for?
It's Ron Dog. That's his real name.
She instantly recognized him even 20 years later, and she said that the name can't be a coincidence. She told my dad that I ended up working for my bio dad and that neither of us knew. My dad said that it doesn't change anything, and he reassured me that I am still his daughter. And he said that I probably shouldn't say anything unless I just really, really need to have that kind of connection with my biological father. I actually pretty much agree with him. Okay, now we're on track, guys.
My conspiracy theory is Ron is going to start flirting with OP,
Ew.
which would be terrible. I hope it doesn't happen.
Ew.
But that would be very
yuck.
Game of Thrones.
Act with that or not?
My sister thinks I would be crazy not to cash in on this, and she thinks that I should absolutely tell Ron that I'm his kid. My boss is extremely financially successful, obviously, and he has a lot of broad discretionary power at the company as the owner. My sister thinks that I should go after him for money. Okay, your sister has kind of bad suggestions.
I mean, she is 17.
Well, that makes sense. Or at least have him turn my position into a cushy, do-nothing boss's daughter job. Wrong. Don't listen to your sister.
This is terrible advice.
It's terrible advice.
This is terrible advice.
The worst advice I've heard. Believe it or not, I'm actually proud of my accomplishments and having earned what I have in life.
I believe that. That is a
She's
good
like,
thing to do.
Shockingly, I actually want this job. And I'm not eager to cash it in and take the promotion to Nepo Baby. And that's even assuming he had a positive reaction at all. He seems like a really good guy, but it's totally possible that he could decide for legal reasons that we need to be separated from each other and I could end up losing my job.
But if he's like the owner of the company, does it matter that they're related?
It could.
Why?
I don't know.
Unless I guess if he has a board.
It could be like, oh, you're biased now.
Yeah, but if that's only, it only matters if there's a board or like investors.
That's
like,
true.
Like no one can say I can't hire you.
Yeah, she could take over Succession.
Succession. Oh, she could be.
What if he already has
heir
kids?
to the throne?
And then she comes in. She's like, actually, I'm your firstborn.
And then inheritance.
Yeah. My parents and Luna have agreed not to try to contact him or to mention this to anybody, not even our other siblings or family members. Back at work, I've talked to Ron more, and he's actually pretty open about his family and personal life. He's married, his wife is in her mid-late 30s, he has a couple of daughters and a son. He says his oldest girl is 15 and that his son is the youngest at 10.
Your oldest girl is 15, not 22?
Wrong! One thing that was actually kind of encouraging was that he said he especially loves his daughters and totally considers himself a girl dad.
Yeah, screw my son.
I hate my son. My 10-year-old son sucks.
Is that not like a weird thing to say? Like, I
totally
especially love my daughters.
Yeah, he's like, my son's fine, but
Yeah,
my
he's like-
daughters are sick.
He's chill.
And that he doesn't understand why some guys would want only sons. I am really, really torn. Part of me thinks it could be hard to sit on a secret like this. And I sort of want to explore a relationship with Ron beyond being his weirdly friendly new hire. But part of me really doesn't want to rock the boat. This is a fantastic job that I was very lucky to get with great pay, more than I would have expected so soon out of college, and a really good work culture / benefits. If Ron responded coldly, negatively, legally, I could be absolutely screwing myself over. Even if he responds positively, I would probably still be seen at work as just the boss's daughter, and no one would believe that I hadn't orchestrated all of this on purpose like some kind of gold digger or blackmailer. I actually don't want him to feel like he can't be my boss or to stick me in a cushy do-nothing position as some sort of apology for not being in my life. And how could he ever believe that I didn't know already? And by the way, you can join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. Just tap our profile.
Real quick, 62% of people say nah, do not tell.
Do not tell.
Or do not connect.
If I was in this position, I would say something.
Say tell.
I would say something.
I mean, I feel like he deserves to know.
He deserves to know.
Especially
you deserve to tell him.
Have the opportunity to have a relationship, like a father-daughter relationship.
Yeah,
with him.
and it's perfect. He's a girl dad. He loves his daughters.
Yeah.
Especially.
And that doesn't discredit the relationship you have with your other dad.
I say
Do it.
I say do.
Dude, and tax write-off. You get up to $6,000 that's not taxed for the kids if they're a part of your LLC.
That's true.
Luna thinks I'm nuts for not going for it and cashing in as hard as I can, but my parents are more on my side, and even though my dad hasn't said anything, I'm worried that he might feel threatened. I love him more than anything in the world. I've always been a daddy's girl, and I never felt like I lacked a wonderful father. I would never want to replace him, and to top it off, my boyfriend, 26 male, works for the company, and he was a key contact in getting me my position. I barely even thought about how this might look on him if things go one way or another. I don't have trouble holding things in, confidence, or keeping things private. I'm pretty sure I probably could just sit on this and never bring it up until maybe after Ron retires, if ever. But I don't know if that's what I want to or should do. Should I never say anything? Should I keep it in my back pocket just in case? Would I be the a-hole if I just pretended I didn't know any of this?
I don't think you're the a-hole for pretending you don't know anything, but if you want to know, you can. You can. You can reach out to him.
If he seems like a nice guy, I don't think it will be as detrimental.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't like if he's also like good at his job, he's not going to jeopardize.
No.
He's not going to do anything that would jeopardize your job or
I don't think so.
The business or anything.
Yeah.
So Dixie Blue Steel says, just walk by and say, "Hey, Daddy."
Hey, Papa.
Puppy.
Papa. Let's get into this next story.
I took a DNA test and found out my dad isn't my real dad. My mom wants me to keep it a secret. So I, 41 female, found out my mom, 62 female, has been lying to me while my whole life about who my dad is.
Wow.
By the way, this comes from Black Cat Energy. 83 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So when I was 14, my mom admitted to me that she was with someone else right before my dad. There was a chance he might not be my dad, but I grew up looking like him, so she's sure I'm his. Oh, she said she only told me this because my sister, my aunt, kept talking about it, and there's a chance it could get back to me, so she told me before.
Yeah, she's getting ahead of it.
My mom said my aunt was jealous of my mom and wanted people to think she had 2 kids from 2 different fathers.
Well,
anyway,
seems like she kind of
it seems like it's true. Fast forward to 2019. I took a DNA test for fun to see what my background was. Results didn't really look like what I expected. And I had 2 first cousins listed that I did not know.
Kind of wild that OP knew there was a possibility that she had a different father and just
went after it like when you were like 40.
Yeah.
I mean, it was also because like I guess she looked so much like her dad.
She's like, it doesn't matter.
I had my sister, 40 female, take the test after that. She came back as a half-sister.
Whoa.
And she did not have that same first cousin.
Plot twist. Plot twist.
Eventually she calmed down and she gave me the name of the other possible father. I looked him up on Facebook and just knew it wasn't him. I never reached out. She got more angry when I told her that I don't think it's either man she said. She told me that she was just with 2 men and there was no possible way it could be anyone else.
I'm
just
so
2?
worried. Okay, but question, I'm thinking like conspiracy theory. OP says that she looks a lot like her dad. Does her dad have a brother?
Yeah, a twin brother. Did you even know? Basically, OP's mom went ballistic, denied it, said the DNA stuff is fake. But is it actually fake?
I don't
is
believe
she
you, Mama.
A little nervous? Now, here we are in 2024, and I was finally able to get in contact with one of the first cousins from the DNA results. She had an uncle, 62 male, who lived on the same street as my mom growing up. He remembers dating my mom for a week and agreed to take a DNA test. Both first cousins are daughters of this man's sisters.
Get up to in that week?
A lot, I guess. As you can guess, my mom was angry about that too and told me I was wasting my money on the test because she never slept with him.
Are we sure?
Results are in, and this man is my father. He had no idea I existed until now. He never had any children, and he's sad that he missed out on my life. He's hurt that his mother never got the chance to meet his daughter before she passed. I'm filled with so much anger towards my mom. Not only did she lie to me, but I had to face so much resistance and gaslighting while on the journey to find out who I really am. Dixie Blue Steel says, Mom is sleeping with everyone.
I'm a little worried, though, because she's so adamant that she didn't.
I think she's just lying.
I hope so.
What also hurts is the guy I grew up believing was my father wasn't a good dad. He caused me a lot of pain, and I walked down the aisle solo on my wedding day. Aww. Some of his family also wasn't the best to me, and I guess I'm starting to figure out why. My biological father and I have been somewhat in contact, and he seems like a very nice man. His whole family has all made me feel welcome.
Yay.
The second they found out. My mom still to this day is denying that this man is my father, even with all the proof I have. She denies she was ever with him. I don't know how to carry on with all the anger I now have towards my mom. I love her, but how do I get over this? I finally feel some peace knowing the truth, but she's trying to take that away from me. How do I get her to stop denying it? And there is an update. Duchess Kasana says, Mama is the town bicycle. Kay said, I'd be sad for Mom if she was
That's what
SA'd
I'm
or
thinking.
something. And that's why it's so hush.
Okay, either she's just a liar or she truly doesn't, really believes what she's saying, which I hope that's not the case.
I feel like she would say that then.
Yeah.
Instead of just denying it. Question for you guys and Sophia, how do I get her to finally stop denying it? I'm wondering, she's already been confronted with so much evidence.
Yeah.
Does OP
I mean, if you haven't already, give the DNA test. Here's the literal proof that this man is my father. If your mom doesn't want to believe, there's not really much you can do.
Yeah. I mean, you can only show her the truth so much.
Yeah.
But there is an update. I, 41 female, found out for certain in recent years that my dad is not my biological dad. My not biological father has finally come out and admitted he knew my mom was pregnant when they first started dating, but convinced himself and his family that he was the father. When you first started dating, you knew that she was pregnant? What, did you think you rubbed out a fast one and it flew into her or something?
It's like, gotta be me.
Gotta be me.
Gotta have been me.
Not only are my swimmers, they can fly too.
And they can overtake.
They can overtake.
He took over the egg.
Someone was already in there. I got in there. Boom.
Boom.
Straight hit.
Direct hit. Some of his sisters were skeptical, and I wasn't always treated the best and never really felt like I fit into that family. My biological father didn't seem to know I existed. My mom ghosted him and started dating my dad. He will always be my dad. She did not know she was pregnant when she ghosted him. She realized she was pregnant right before she started dating my dad, and they just went along with it and never told the biological father.
Ooh.
She said she ghosted him because he was weird.
What?
Which to her means nerdy.
No.
He just wanted to stop talking about Star Wars and Star Trek.
Aww. She preferred the bad boys, which is what my dad was. They divorced when I was 7 because he was abusive to my mom.
Oh, he's really bad.
He's a really bad boy.
Bad boy.
My mom kept custody, and my dad would take us when he wanted, but it wasn't often. He even left me and my sister in the car downtown at night to go to a bar. We were 10.
Oh.
This man is my dad, but he is not a saint. When I tracked down my biological father and we got our results, he was heartbroken that he never knew, and more so that his mother didn't get to meet what would be his only child before she passed away.
Oh.
And there is more to this story, but you can join us every weekday here on YouTube, 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. I'm not seeking a father/daughter relationship from him, but I do want to know more about the family my DNA came from. Now that I have DNA proof and found my biological family, my dad wants me to bury it and keep it a secret because it hurts him. I don't want to keep it a secret, and that might make me an a-hole. Do you think it makes him an a-hole? Or
No.
OP an a-hole?
No, I don't think keeping it a secret or not wanting to keep it a secret.
I don't think she would be an a-hole for.
I think it's been kept a secret from her for so long, which is really frustrating.
I think OP is now allowed to do whatever she wants with that information. I get that it hurts him to have people find out, but how am I supposed to feel? I was lied to my whole life and missed out on what seems like a great family. My biological father's family has been very welcoming and supportive. So, would I be the a-hole if I don't keep the secret? I feel like this is my story and part of who I am. I'm not even the ethnicity I was told I was. I would like to learn about it and be proud of my real ancestry. So, to everyone in chat and to Sophia, is OP the a-hole for not keeping the secret?
I don't think so. I think that you can, especially exposing it to her bio father's family.
Yeah, I don't think you need to flaunt it in your you're the dad that raised you's face, like, haha, you're not related to me. And you don't necessarily even need to tell everyone, but to seek a relationship with your biological father, I think is more than fine, and you are very entitled to.
Agreed.
But that's where that story ends.